Did you know in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, actor Sean Bean, who portrayed Boromir, had a severe fear of flying? This ended up being an issue for the scenes in which they filmed high up on the mountains. And while most actors would take the helicopters up the mountain, Sean ended up hiking as he could not get himself to go in the aircraft. This hike would take him around 2 hours to complete. And on one occasion, he actually completed the hike in his full costume, complete with shield and armor. But did you know in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, most of Jack Sparrow's hats are made of rubber? In the beginning, the hats were made out of leather, but Johnny Depp kept losing them overboard. And since water and leather don't mix, the hat kept needing to be made over and over again. After he lost 10 leather hats, the costume designer got tired of it and simply made the hat out of rubber, making sure that it looks identical in every way because it would withstand the water. And also, it floats, meaning they wouldn't lose the hat again. Did you know in Avengers Endgame, the gut-wrenching line shared between Tony Stark and his daughter, "I love you 3000, was actually Robert Downey Jr.'s idea? Robert decided to change the original line from "I love you tons" to the now iconic line, as it's something one of his daughters once said to him. But did you know in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, they did not use the term muggle for non-magical people in this movie? The word has been so thoroughly ingrained into the lexicon that it even made it into the Oxford English Dictionary. So it shouldn't surprise anyone that fans of Harry Potter complained about the movie replacing the term muggle with an American equivalent. But there may be a reason behind it. In the 1920s, muggles was US slang for marijuana cigarettes. This could be why members of the US wizarding community don't use the term to mean non-magical people, but call them no-mag instead. But did you know in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales? Orlando Bloom mentioned that this was technically a soft reboot of the franchise, but there are a lot of continuation pieces in the film. For one, Will Turner is now the captain of the Flying Dutchman, and he's only allowed on land every 10 years. In the story, the events take place 10 years after he became the captain, but the film itself was also released 10 years after Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, when he became the captain for the first time. Did you know in The Amazing Spider-Man, it's the first Spider-Man movie that didn't come out the same year as Harry Potter? The 2002 Spider-Man came out the same year as Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. 2004 Spider-Man 2 came out the same year as Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And 2007 Spider-Man 3 came out the same year as Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It was also the first movie ever to be shot with Red's Epic series digital cameras, which was still in its prototype stages when shooting began. So an engineer from Red was on standby throughout the shoot to provide immediate technical assistance. But did you know in It, Chapter 2, the runtime was almost longer than it ended up being? With Chapter 2 sitting at a hefty 2 hours and 49 minutes, this entry is 34 minutes longer than 2017's It was. It was only 2 hours and 15 minutes long. The two of them put together are actually 2 hours longer than the original miniseries. Since put together they run for 5 hours and 4 minutes. Chapter 2 was originally over 4 hours long. They cut it down to 2 hours and 49 minutes. And the director plans to save the cut footage to use in future It projects. Did you know in The Suicide Squad, it really didn't take much to get the actors and actresses on board to play their characters? Margot Robbie and Idris Elba signed on as soon as they found out that James Gunn was attached to direct. John Cena didn't even let him explain the movie completely. Pete Davidson jumped on board after finding out that he'd be playing a D-list villain named Dick Hertz. Finally, Sylvester Stallone agreed to play King Shark simply because James said he wrote him the part.